Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Claude Junqua. Claude is an author and founder of CE2Innovate. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Claude. Claude, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Nice talking to you.
Likewise, feeling is mutual. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, I live in Silicon Valley, currently, but originally I am from Europe, from France, and I came to the US when I was in the middle of my PhD, and my background is in speech recognition. And I did my thesis in speech recognition, and more generally in AI. I work in AI most of my career. Initially, I work in an industrial lab, from Panasonic, in Santa Barbara, south of California, and I was always interested in technology, but progressively, from a technology point of view, I became interested in really how to apply this technology, how to create new business, and so I'm still. From a researcher, developing technology, I kind of, move toward kind of innovations and creating kind of new business opportunity from a business and a customer perspective. During my career, I work in many different places. I work in Europe. I work in Japan. For 3 or 4 years. I work in the US, and in 2006, I started the activity of innovation of Panasonic in Silicon Valley, and where the idea was to work with startups, university, and so on. And I became very interested in the startup world. I created a startup inside Panasonic, and later on I work with startup and new business creation in many different roles. I actually kind of summarize, I would say the learnings and what I did in a book that is kind of beside me, which is kind of related to innovation in corporation and startups. So that's kind of in a nutshell, kind of what I came from.
What are the top 3 reasons why do people fail?
Interesting questions. I think there are many, but I think if I think about the top 3, at least from my experience, the first one I would say it's really kind of building something that people do not want and not paying enough attention to customer, especially in the initial stage. When I was working in corporations, is often something that was happening, a lot of planning, but not too much interaction with customer, and you end up with something that the customer do not want. So that's, I would say, one of the top kind of mistake. The second one, that can be also very costly. It's really hiring the wrong people, and because it's really, especially when you have a small team, can really set you back. And finally, I think I would say the third one is probably going to market too fast without having a solid product market fit, and then you realize that when you want to scale, you don't have the basis or the solid fit that will allow you to scale quickly. So I would say that's kind of the 3 in my experience that I encounter very, very often.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Okay, I made many mistakes, so I would say it's related probably to some of the things that I said earlier. It's really kind of hiring the wrong people. It can be really a costly mistake, especially as I said when you have a small team. And how did I recover? It's really by finding replacement, but the problem is that you lose a lot of time, and I lost a lot of time, kind of when I did that. So in my experience, I built a number of teams in the past, and that has been a costly mistake.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Okay, so top 3 success secrets. One, I think that I discover along the way, I think it's really to manage uncertainty instead of avoiding it. Uncertainty is present all the time, and there are many different ways to deal with it. And I found that really kind of managing it instead of trying to eliminate it, it's often a better strategy. The second one would be, focusing on speed and learning instead of trying to be 100% right. Because especially large corporations, they want to kind of eliminate the risk, and they want to be right, and then it takes a lot of time to be able to try to do that. And I found that focusing on speed and learning instead is often a better strategy. And finally, I would say it's really network. The company I created is called CE2Innovate, which is connect and engage to innovate. And there is a reason. It's because I really believe in connection and engagement to be able to build, your network that will be essential for you to succeed. Because these days, you really need to, to work together, to collaborate, to be able to create new business opportunity, and connecting and engaging for, innovating. I think it's really something that I found was very important.
What motivates you within?
What motivates me within is really to solve challenges and to work with good people. I think that I'm very kind of people oriented, and that's something that motivates me.
What is your company's motto?
My company motto, as I said, is really connecting and engaging kind of with people. And I believe it's all about people, and that's kind of what I focus on.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is often, I would say, kind of a company, that don't know exactly kind of what they are doing, are doubting in terms of their direction, don't know exactly how to position what they do, and that's the people that I like to work with. I am more kind of a person that is trying to to explore and to find the right fit, than really kind of a person that kind of try to operationalize things.
How do you find your ideal client?
Many different way. I think networking. I have a large network, and I did a lot of things in my past, in terms of research and innovation, and often people are coming to me. So it's really a combination of inbound and outbound, but the network is probably the most important here.
How do you engage your ideal client?
It really depends, what they have to do, and the problems that they have. I often kind of initially kind of listen to them and listen what they want to do, and then based on my experience, I make suggestions. And very often it's really about, I like to engage with the people I work with in a light way initially, to be able to see if there is a fit, and then to go deeper. So that's kind of the way that I like to work.
What are your well-defined products or services?
Something that I like to do, actually, it's as I said, finding a product market fit, and So, things like, customer discovery, customer validation, positioning, that's, and also kind of creating a vision and creating a strategy, so that's kind of the type of thing that I often work with the company I work with.
Why someone should buy from you?
People don't buy from me. People work with me and people collaborate with me. I think I have experience in a number of different areas, and that's what people are looking for. They are looking for people that did it before, and that's usually why I work with people.
How do you crush? Excuse me. How do you crush your competition?
I don't crush competition. I provide a new perspective, and I like to explore, and I like to think out of the box, and that's what I provide to people along with my experience, I would say, in a large corporation and startups. Why I wrote the book actually beside me, it's because there is some really interesting intersection between what you do in a large company and what you do in a smaller company. And I think that a lot of innovation today is happening at the intersection of the large company and the startup, and we are seeing more and more collaboration between the two. And I think that's often what I bring in to the table, because I've experience in both, and I understand well the challenges that both type of institution have.
How do you deliver a 5-star client experience?
By being engaged, and basically try to solve problems the way that I would do it if it was my company. So I am a person that likes to solve problems, and I take the problem that I am working on like if it was my problem and my company.
How do you use your sales proposals to close more deals?
I don't, make sales proposals. People, as I said earlier, people are coming to me kind of often. It's not really, it's often the case. It's not that I'm searching kind of new client or company. Of course, I'm in networks, that kind of, provide, visibility there. But, often, kind of, people are coming to me because they have some problem and they think that I can help them based on what I did in the past.
How do you convert your clients into your brand ambassadors?
Well, by doing a good job, and by helping them basically with the problem that they have, and by, kind of creating a good, I would say, win-win situation. Win-win situation is actually, kind of a key, in this type of business.
How do you handle an angry client?
I don't think I had too many angry clients, but I try to understand why. I think curiosity and understanding and listening. It's something that is very important. There is always a why, and I think the key is to try to understand this why. It can come from many different places. It can be from what you did, or maybe something else, and I think that's often the key.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means a quick question and a quick answer. Are you ready?
Okay.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for the people I worked with. As I said, I'm a people person, and I'm grateful for all the bright and good people I worked with.
How do you start your day?
I start my day by walking my dog. Actually, I like to go outside kind of initially, and that kind of provide kind of a good start of the day for me. And then I go to my email and I start to work and so on. That's the way that generally I start my day.
How young are you?
I am 63 now.
So, Jean-Claude, you are not 63, you are 18 years old with 44 years experience.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. I like it.
What you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be able to, to share my experience. I think I did a lot of things, in my, in a career and, in my life, generally speaking. And I want to be able to share it and to work with, people where I can use it in some ways. Yes. Mm-hmm.
What are your plan to achieve your goal?
I think it's actually doing what I am doing now. Actually, it's really kind of being open, being curious and trying to see where I can fit, and continuing exploring and learning.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
I will continue to work on it. In the sense that, sometimes you don't know when things happen. And I think not giving up and being able to continue, it's something that, I intend to do.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Actually, this is related to what I said, just earlier. It's really not giving up and continuing. I really believe that, with every problem, there is an opportunity, and I'm looking for the opportunities instead of focusing on the problem.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
I think I would say explore more and faster. I think I learned kind of this as I went through kind of a number of different things. And I think if I had to go back and to rewind, I would do it faster and do more.
Once you have an revenue-generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
I think it's by gathering evidence. I am really a data person. And I think, I think it's really kind of trying to gather the data to be able to say, to convince that, the idea that I have is a good idea.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
I think my living mentor is probably, Steve Blank, the founder, one of the founder of the lean startup, movement. I think he really changed my way of thinking about new business creation, focusing on the customer and the market from day one. And I think that's probably the one that had the most impact, regarding my career. Mm-hmm.
Can you please make an introduction to him so I can interview him on my show?
I can try.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Why being impactful is important to you?
It's important because, I am a problem solver, by nature. And I think I likes to, to look for, impact and solution. So I like to see often a result or a solution for, what I am doing.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be probably remembered for, a person that, is continuing exploring, learning, and also care about people. I think that I said in some of the questions earlier, that's something that is important to me. So yes.
How can we support you?
You can support me by, as I said, I love to explore. I love to learn. If there are some interesting problem and interesting challenge, where, I can help, I would be really happy to, to talk to the, the people that have this problem. You may want to read my book and give me feedback, and see how, bring new perspectives. And that's really what I love. And how you can probably support me, so that I kind of see kind of maybe and explore kind of a new way of doing things as I go forward.
We are about to wrap up. I like to have your few words about today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I love the discussion. I love to talk about this topic, and I like the informal way of that we talk today.
What would you say as a final word?
As my final word, I would say it's all about people. It's all about your customer. It's all about kind of your network, your team, and so we need to take care of them, and we need to really put them first in all what we do.
Thank you so much, Jean-Claude, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. Really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.